All right now.
Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
Live!
They want it. They want it.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. Go get it.
That's a different tier right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not having a snowball fight.
Three. No one's ever got three. I want back-to-back to back.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. Touchdown! Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Let's go! Do it live! You gotta fight for your right to fight!
It'll get handled when it gets handled.
Let's go.
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, real quick, if you wouldn't mind, before you forget, make sure you tap and that like and tap that subscribe.
It's over there.
Maybe tell a friend, tell a family member, tell some Chiefs fans. Help spread the word. We'd appreciate it. We got a good show lined up after a few weeks off here in the off season. The draft's around the corner. There's 18-game regular season talk again. There's more rule changes for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, for the NFL. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about just whatever is going on. Chiefs might be the new Christmas team. Oh, we talked about that a while back, and I might have taken a victory lap on that. So anything you all want to hear about or talk about, or any questions, make sure you throw them up there in the chat. We'll do our best to get to them. Before we get into it, fellas, it's been a minute since I've seen you guys. How you doing, Bo?
Yeah, dude, I'm doing pretty good. Other than, losing and then gaining back the value of a car in the stock market in one day. Yeah. That's been, pretty fun. But no, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Nick?
A while back, Bo was like, you should really look into crypto, man. And
right.
It is not gone up since I bought. Let me just put it that way. So.
Oh, it did today. I don't know.
It didn't go up as much as it's gone down.
It will.
Yeah. Hold
that's
on
why
for your life, right?
That's why I keep my money in jars in the walls of the house.
Under your mattress.
The mattress.
The most secure.
Yeah. No, I'm doing good. Just enjoying springtime here. It's been nice. Hopefully we're past the bad weather. Nick, the old jinx, I think the last time we were on here talking about how nice the weather was, and then it was snowing and shit like 2 days later. I was like, thanks a lot for that. I'm doing good. I went to the Royals home opener for a work function and
nice.
Was like looking at Arrowhead Stadium, was like, I'm ready. Like, already,
not
man.
Far away.
I usually don't get like ready. I'm usually so like emotionally drained after the season, right? Like, usually takes a good few months till at least we get to like the OTAs or something to really start getting that like Jones to get back out to Arrowhead. But I was feeling it when I was out there watching the Royals game, man, the home opener. I was like, man, I'm ready to get back in there and watch Patrick Mahomes play some football.
Especially being there.
Right. Yeah.
On location
right.
there.
Right. It'll be here before you know it, man. Like it'll be week one and you'll be like, all right, let's go. But I might have to take the audio clip out of the intro where he's like, I want back to back to back. That was like a fucking dagger.
Yeah, we need to. We're gonna need a new intro. Yeah, it's the off season.
Right, but you know what? Like I've been thinking about that a little bit, and I mean it was a little greedy, right, to want that like back to back to back, the first three-peat, and do something that's never been done before. But like I was just casually listening to sports radio driving around a few days ago, and the guy says Patrick Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls, and I was like, Patrick Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls, man. That's fucking like, I don't know. You would have signed up for that, right? Like 5 or 10 years, or maybe 10 years ago,
easily.
Before Patrick got here, man. Like, dude said, "Look, man, you're gonna get 3 Super Bowls. You would, dude. I'll sign it in blood, if I have to."
Right, dude. I'm here, and we have the like the Roku TV, so it has the Roku channels, and they were playing some old NFL games, and it was Chiefs versus Chargers back when like Drew Brees played for the Chargers and
yeah.
like Derek
Whoa.
Thomas was in
Man.
there whooping up on him
crazy.
and everything, right? And I was sitting there like, man, I was such a fan of this. And we weren't even that good, you know? Like,
Right.
it's so weird to think that we've been
Right.
in 5 Super Bowls in the past
Right.
6 years, you know, like 7
Yeah.
years. It's like, yeah, like I would have signed up for it immediately. If,
Right.
Yeah, somebody could predict the future. Yeah. What a time. What a time we're living in.
First, this is a little bit old news now at this point. We've all had some personal stuff and just taken some time off here during the slow part of the off season. But we talked back in December when the Chiefs played the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas Day about that was the second year in a row, and we thought whether or not that was maybe a sign of things to come. Well, it looks like Clark Hunt has requested that the Chiefs be the Christmas Day team, kind of like the Lions, right, and the Cowboys on Christmas. I kind of saw that coming, right? Like you played back-to-back years on Christmas Day. That is not a coincidence. We talked
Right,
about it then. Now that it's looking like it might be more of a reality, let's just go around and talk about that real quick. Make sure throw up in the comments there. Looks like our man John C's in the house. I saw Big Doug.
Oh,
and Lady in
hey-o.
there.
Yeah,
Good to
put
see
my
you
comments
all.
up. Forgot about that. Hey, everyone.
Nick, do the Chiefs become the annual Christmas Day team? And are you in favor of that? Are you hoping that happens? You against that happening?
Like the Cowboys
mean,
on Turkey Day?
Yeah, I think at this point, yes, it's going to happen. They played this year on the most difficult day of the week to do it, right? Because you got to think if it's like Tuesday, then they would just probably like not play Sunday and play Tuesday, right? But they did like the whole Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday
Short weeks. Yeah.
deal. And so if they're willing to do that, then they'll do it every year. So I say yes. I personally, like, I'm not like a big fan of them playing every Christmas, right? Like you just got to think like, I mean, I love Patrick Mahomes. I love watching him play, but you know, that ain't going to be the team forever. And, you know, like when they go through this post period of Patrick Mahomes, if they don't have a good quarterback, and like, let's say they're like having a Patriots type run, you know, and then they're just sucking. You're just like watching your team get throttled on Christmas every year. May not be too fun, but yeah, look, I think it's going to happen. I think that they're the marquee team. They've got the marquee player. And if they're willing to do it, I don't see why the NFL wouldn't grant them that, like, you know, they've done for the Cowboys and Lions on Thanksgiving.
You think they play if they become every year on Christmas Day? They played the Raiders 2 years ago at home, and then last year on the road. Do you think they play at home every year on Christmas if they become the yearly team?
Is that how the Thanksgiving teams are? They're at
I
home.
was just thinking about that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
If they
Cowboys
alternate.
and Lions play at home every Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, you know, going to games on Christmas could be fun, right? You know, it could become like the new tradition for the family. So, you know, that wouldn't be a bad way to go. Maybe you could do, you know, your actual Christmas stuff, like either when you get home
That's a
or you
hell
could
of
do
a
it like on a
tradition.
different day, right? I mean, I know a lot of families now, they're kind of,
We're postponing Christmas a day, guys. Chiefs are
well,
on. Sorry, guys.
yeah. Look, my kids aren't going to be that young forever, so it'll change, you know.
Right.
I think that if I tried to postpone Christmas to go to a Chiefs game right now, maybe the last Christmas I'm around my family. So let's just say that. But yeah, look, I think that'd be cool. Like if it was in Kansas City every year, it became like a tradition. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Bo, you think it happens? And what do you think? You enjoy the Chiefs? You like it on Christmas?
Yeah, I think the writing's been on the wall since we kind of became America's new team, the face of the NFL, right? With Mahomes and Kelsey everywhere on national TV and everything. And then, you know, bringing in the number one pop star has, like, you know, your tight end's girlfriend and stuff probably helps the ratings a little bit on those days. Yeah, I think the writing was on the wall a little bit for that to happen. Am I a fan of it? I don't know. I'm a little torn. I was at that Raiders game 2 years ago when they kind of, you know, rained on our parade, and they were so happy about it. They're smoking cigars in the locker room and waving at us fans in the stands. Man, it was rough. But then, you know, last year wasn't too bad. It was a great little redemption, a nice little surprise. It's fun to do that. I think I'm with Nick. I could get behind doing that every year. It's not terrible. Having been a seasoned fan, I'm used to watching the Chiefs lose, so I'm still in this awestruck era of watching them win all the time. I'm still not used to it. So yeah, I could get used to just watching them on one of my favorite holidays. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it happens to Clark Hunt if he's asking for it. They're one of like the blue bloods of the NFL ownerships, right? I mean, one of the original AFL teams that merged. He's got a lot of pull, and if that's what he wants, and it, like Nick said, it doesn't hurt if you got the marquee player and you're the dynasty going. So I enjoy it. I like watching the Chiefs games on Christmas. I mean, even when they lost that game with Raiders, it was so cool. Like we have family that lives out of town, and so they're in town for Christmas usually, and get to watch the games together. You might get to watch 2 or 3 games with the folks, or something like that a year. So I enjoy it. I mean, the games, like, I'm trying to remember that Raiders game. I know they played like later in the day, or the Steelers last year. I want to say that game was at like 2:30 or 3 o'clock or something. So look, man, like whose kids don't have their presents ripped open by like 9:30 in the morning anyway? You know what I'm saying?
Get your kids in line if they're not waking you
like,
up in the morning to open.
Maybe you got a family get together or lunch or something. But you got the Chiefs on in the background, and you got the whole family together, man. I think it's cool. I like it. It just adds to the joy, right, and the spirit of the holiday. And I mean, I'm not the biggest Christmas person ever either.
This would get you to come around though, right?
Yeah,
it's actually I don't mind this
right,
holiday.
Yeah. So, I'm in favor of it. I hope it happens. I think it's going to happen. I think it's cool. I think if you do it every year, you gotta, like, especially for guys that are going to be on the team for a long time, right? Like you got to have it at home for those people. If you're going to make them play every year on Christmas, they got to be at least like then go home to their house and their family that night, or be at home that morning to maybe do the present thing before you get to the facility or something with the kids. So I
feel like that Steelers game was late. I feel like it was like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like later in the day. So, I mean, I don't know. Christmas is kind of over like Christmas morning for a lot of people. We do like the big family thing the Saturday before Christmas. So, yeah, I'm hoping it happens. And like you were saying, Bo, the writing was kind of on the wall. We talked about it last December. It was like the only thing that made me kind of was thinking, well, maybe that's just coincidence, or not coincidence, but not going to be, was that they played on the road the second time, right? If they would have played back-to-back years at home on Christmas, that would have been like pretty obvious. But
yeah, right.
Back-to-back years, that was kind of like
the only thing I can see them not doing that is if they take a turn and try to be the international play. If like we see them take a bunch of international games, see them playing in London, playing in Germany,
probably doing
then
both,
I can see
right?
them not playing on Christmas.
I think they're supposed to play in Sao Paulo too this year. So
right.
That's right. One. Yeah.
I mean, they're the favorite right now. People think to play the Chargers in Brazil, week 1. So that'd be pretty early in the season. You'd be able to like get your game at Christmas at home. They'd be the away team. So Chiefs got 9 home games this year. The last time they had the extra home game, they played in Frankfurt, Germany. So looking forward to an extra game, extra release tickets until I look at the bill every month and they're charging my credit card for the season tickets.
Right.
Like, God, ain't that 9th game?
John C., put your pilot on notice for Brazil or Germany this year.
Right, there you go. Yeah, the Brazil game, that was the game last year. Remember they were telling the players and stuff, and they're like, hey man, like, don't leave the hotel. Don't go like around town.
Don't talk to anybody.
Right, they were saying like, someone's like, don't wear green. It was like, well, it's the Packers and the Eagles, and both those teams' colors are green. So I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, man. At the Chiefs, they won that game in Frankfurt, so you got to strike while the iron's hot. If you're Clark Hunt, man, that's the other thing too. Is like, there's 2 teams that I'm guaranteed to watch every year, other than the Chiefs, and that's the Lions and the Cowboys, right? I mean, from the marketing aspect of it too, your team's gonna be in front of more people. And how many stories have you heard about like people that live in a city that doesn't have a team, right? And they're like, oh well, I was watching a game and I saw it on the TV. You're watching the Chiefs are on Christmas every year, and the game's on or whatever. They're kind of like the Thanksgiving thing. So it's a smart move business wise for the Chiefs. And growing Chiefs Kingdom being on Christmas, because it's gonna be pretty much guaranteed that your team is gonna be someone's gonna watch your team that maybe not as a fan, right, of your team. I'm trying to remember back, they did that special on the bar there in Philadelphia, and that's kind of how that guy became a Chiefs fan. Like watching the games, and like it was on TV, and he liked the uniforms. So good for business. I think overall good for the fans. There's some fans that don't like it. I understand people say, well, then the stadium people got to work on Christmas. Like, that's a part-time job, right? I mean, if it's that big a deal, to just quit your part-time job, man, if you don't want to work on Christmas. Like, I don't know. It's a kind of a strange complaint to me with the 24-hour society we live in nowadays. Everything's open every day, right? I mean, so
yeah. I also just, I don't know. Making the players and the refs and the stadium personnel and everybody work on Christmas every year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's
That
kind of
sucks,
a weak
man.
gripe to me. But
A week.
for the most
right?
part, for most of those people, it's like a part-time job, right? And so maybe you don't work at Chiefs Stadium if you don't work on Christmas Day. I don't know, man. It's not.
Yeah, no, it's just, you have a choice.
You kind of have to know what you're signing up for when you sign up to work for them, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
it's very. There's this time window, and there's some weird times in
Yeah, look,
there.
I worked retail for a lot of years, right? So, I mean, I worked probably more holidays, missed more family functions than most. So maybe that's why I have a little bit different perspective. Like, I mean,
You know, empathy
don't
going
have
on
to-
there.
you don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What'd you say,
Yeah.
Scotty?
So you got a little empathy going on for the folks working holidays there. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I bet they play on Christmas. I bet when the schedule is released this year, you see the Chiefs playing on Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So,
No, it's. I think it's a done deal. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that coming out there is. I mean,
unofficial.
Why
way to
would they
announce
say
it,
no?
Unofficially official. So, yeah, I don't know. That's like the other owners. They want it was a streaming game last year, right? Like, I mean, now that you have to watch it on TV locally. But
Yeah, it was, I think it was Netflix.
it was a Netflix thing. So unless the other teams are like, hey, like we want some of that Netflix money, but I think they split that money up pretty evenly anyway. Through
I heard there's going to be a
networks or
ton of
whatever,
Netflix and actually like paywall
Right.
sites that a bunch of games
Yeah.
are going to be broadcast through this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, they're
I
all
don't know
getting in on it.
I don't know. The NFL's king, but at some point, I don't know. It's almost like this is getting totally off track here. But like I used to be a pretty big NHL fan. Which, by the way, congratulations, Alex Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's
Oh my
NHL
God.
goals record. Like what, bro? Holy shit!
Oh,
That's
dude,
a hell of a
yeah.
record,
I didn't
dude.
think that was ever going to happen.
Don't follow hockey, but then you hear
Right.
that and you're like,
Yeah.
holy
Wait, what?
hell, that is a hell of a run, man.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, 895 goals, right? I think that was the record. So, whew, man, congratulations, that guy. But I used to be a pretty big hockey fan, and you'd be flipping channels, and it was on, right? It was on, and then they got a big contract, I want to say, from like Outdoor Network or something, but then it was like hard to watch, and like you had to have like not only did you have to have cable, you had to have the sports package, and it was kind of like, well, I'm just not going to watch as much hockey. You know what I'm saying? Like, and baseball's running into this. Like, they want their viewership and their fandom to grow, but then they make the games harder to get or more expensive to watch. And so I don't know, man. I at some point, like, I think you like alienate yourself, or you price yourself out, or you piss off the casual people, right? And it's like, well, I'm just not going to watch as much football because
Right.
there's casual fans out there that just watch the games because they're on, right? I mean, it's like,
Well,
oh,
dude,
I'm not gonna sign up for
all of us
Netflix
are
to
more
get
than
that.
casual fans, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But like you put it behind 2 or 3 paywalls, it's just
Right.
like, I mean, it's just one game. I can miss
Right.
one game, you know? Like I don't need to catch
Or people
every
just
game.
pirate it, you know?
Or people pirate it.
No, I don't know
Come
who
on.
does that.
Please come
No.
back, Meth Streams guy.
I mean, I don't know who would do
Who
that.
would do
but
that?
I don't need to
Right.
because, you know, they're all
The
on
Met-
TV here.
If the Meth Streams guy is watching, please come back. No, just kidding. Stop taking your break or whatever the hell it was you were doing.
He's back,
so.
Scott. He's back.
Oh, okay. All right, good. That's good to know. Good to know. But yeah, speaking of games, the 18-game regular season talks were going on again. It looks like maybe it's been shot down for now, but it keeps coming up. And when they went to 17 games, with it being an uneven number of games, you just like knew that 18 was like where they were wanting to go, right?
Yeah, and it's
Bo?
always been in like hanging around in the back.
Yeah.
Right, and they
Yeah.
keep floating. It keeps getting rejected, but I think they just keep tabling it just so
Right.
like
Get a
3 or
little
4
more support
owners can be
for
like,
it.
no, it's we've always had this idea. It's been this idea
Right.
for 5-6 years now. There's always
Right.
this been the yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's foregone conclusion. They're going to get to an 18th game. Like how long do you think it takes us to get there, Bo? 2 seasons, 3 seasons, longer? I mean,
I'm always fascinated at the amount of rules that get rejected and the amount of rules that get accepted, right? There was some rules that they were trying to get an eighth team into the playoffs. They're trying to get a rule that says if like you have a better record than the divisional winner, you should be placed higher than that. I mean, there's like a lot of rules being floated out there, and it's always interesting to see the ones that get flown through. But yeah, I do think the 18 game is a strong possibility. How quick we see it, it depends if Buffalo needs one more game this year. If they need one more game, I could see that rule being changed real quick, actually.
Yeah. All that's got to happen is the Bills got to miss the playoffs by one game, and he'll change
by one game, right? Yeah.
Game, right. Yeah, that's funny shit. Nick, I mean, if you had to put a number on it, are we looking in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years? How far down the road do you think that is?
If I had to put money, I'd say less than 5. I mean, the only thing I'd say is like, if they were to, use this odd game for the international games, right? Like we've talked about before, that makes it easy because then you can still keep it even. Nobody has to give up a true home game, right? And they would still get same amount of home and away games. But yeah, I think it'll happen, right? I mean, look, if they're willing to make people pay for Netflix to watch the game on Christmas, then like they're gonna get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you can push it off, but you're gonna get it. And I just think that as that revenue stream gets bigger and bigger and bigger, they're like, look, it's like we're gonna get to 18 games. It's just a foregone conclusion. So. And I would say it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I think that, Goodell definitely wants to get there before he retires. And so, I mean, I would put less than 5 years.
I think you see 18 regular season games next year. Not like obviously this year coming up, but the 2 seasons from now. Yeah. I think you see 18 games.
Laney, I think the tush push did not get banned. I think they voted, but I don't think it passed.
I don't even think they voted on it. I think they postponed the vote. Yeah, for their next meeting. Sometime before summer camp. I don't remember when the next meeting is, but yeah, it got postponed a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's been rejected yet. I think it is slowly gaining more and more traction. And look, I don't know. I see the argument on both sides of it. I can see people saying sour grapes because it's so effective. At the same time, it is kind of like a cheap bullshit play, right? Like you can't push any of the other players to get the yardages and a lot of stuff. So I don't know, man. I
think if you just simply amended the rule to where the defense could also push and have it fair, there would be no valid complaints from either end about whether or not it's a good play or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if you just called false start when they, false started.
Or if you call false start when they false start, yeah, that would help. Well, maybe if the Eagles signed Juwan Taylor when he was a free agent after this.
Bro, I almost lost the computer. I almost lost my computer there.
That's what the Chiefs they just need to trade Juwan Taylor to the Eagles, and you'll start getting those false starts called. Yeah, I don't know.
Who did they play where there was 6 or 7? I think it was the Commanders. It was 6 or 7 tush pushes in a row, and the refs were getting on the mic saying "Hey, if another encroachment penalty happens, we're just going to give them the yardage, aka the touchdown."
Right. The defenders were just trying to time it exactly perfect, and we're going super early because the penalty at that point is half the distance to the goal, which
is some point inches at that point,
or even less than inches. I mean, you could get down to millimeters or something.
Yeah, at one point, especially after 7 times on the 1 inch. You have
to get out there and measure it with the distance to go with a micrometer out there on the field at some point. But yeah, and they were saying that more intentional penalties could result in a score being awarded, which to me would be the most epic ref thing ever.
Dude, right? Could you imagine if we were doing that? The narrative behind that, the refs giving us points.
Do you know how many times I've texted you guys oh, they just gave the other team a touchdown there. The refs just gave a touchdown there. tongue in cheek saying because of the bullshit penalty kept a drive alive. Bro, no, they literally gave them a fucking touchdown. I would lose my shit. It would happen against the Chiefs too, guaranteed, 100%.
I remember watching that game though. I'm just feeling frustrated for Washington because it's like, what else are you gonna do? You either have to like time it perfectly, which they were trying to do. They weren't intentionally going off sides, right? Or like, yeah, or you got to commit a foul, and oh, dude, I don't know. They really pushed that one up to the gray line there of that rule. Right. That's for sure.
I want to say it was Carrington Harrison was talking about this and was saying, just make it to where you can only do it on 4th down, the tush push. And like, there's been people saying like trying to find a compromise. Like maybe you can only do it once on a set of downs or in a quarter. You can only do it on 4th down. And I don't know. Like I was like, no, either you let teams be able to do it or not do it. I mean, if you were voting on it, which way would you vote, Bo? Would you vote to keep it or would you vote to get rid of it?
Yeah, I'd vote to keep it. If like there were 12 teams that were just doing it nonstop and they always did it all the time, then it makes sense. But there's one team, literally maybe two, right? Like Josh Allen and the Bills kind of did it. Yeah, but they're more like QB sneak, and Josh Allen's just a fucking beast, right? So that's I feel like it's a whole separate monster.
I know one he didn't get.
If it was like a thing that the whole league was parroting and it was just getting absolutely ridiculous, I would understand. But it's one team dominating. Like, no, somebody needs to figure it out. And then once a team figures out how to stop that, the rest of the league will then copy it, and then it'll be negated. Like, I think keep it in there. That would be my vote.
Right. Nick, you have a vote. Are you keeping it or are you ditching it?
I guess the question is, does it make the game better, right? And is it like in the spirit of competition?
I guess it depends on if your team's good at doing it or not.
Yeah, I just like those are the thoughts, right? And is it in the spirit of the game, right? And so, I mean, you could sit there and say, well, it's like one of the oldest school plays, right? Like it's like the old rugby scrum, like it came from. Look, if they're not going to balance out the rule book so that both sides can kind of get an equal opportunity, like then you gotta get it out of there. In my opinion, it's not in the spirit of like fair competition, and to be honest, like it's kind of boring and I don't think it makes the game better. So I mean, I would say in its current iteration, like if that was I would probably vote to remove it. And I intentionally didn't say that after the first Eagles Super Bowl where we had to watch them do that stupid play like 16 times against us and we still beat them
at will. Yeah.
So look, I just think, I don't know. It's lame, right? It's like the kid in Madden that like always does like spams the same freaking play over and over and over again. So I just,
what it reminds me of?
Nick's talking about me. I was that kid, by the way.
Yeah. Did you ever play? You remember playing Mortal Kombat and you'd play the guy who had the scorpion spear, the Khmer thing, like timed perfectly to where like you couldn't move or nothing, and he would just do it over and over and over, and then you're dead, and you're like, well, this is some bullshit. That's what it reminds me of whenever I see him do it. I'd vote to get rid of it just because, I mean, I don't know, fuck the Eagles. I don't like the Eagles. I don't like their fans. So, I
mean, that's
had to watch them do it to us over and over in the Super Bowl. It's just a lame play. It's not like, I guess maybe like a guy like Jason Kelce or an actual NFL player would say there's skill to it. Maybe there is, but I don't know. To me, it's boring to watch. It's annoying. Like it seems cheap, right? Like it seems gimmicky or like a Bush League thing to do. I don't know. So I would vote to get rid of it just because I just don't like watching it. Obviously, opinion might be different if the Chiefs were really, really good at it, but
if you get rid of it though, like I just feel like there's like now you're just opening up a whole can of worms as far as like what QB sneaks are, and then if like QBs does like a QB option and like I don't know, a hand gets set on somebody.
Like they're lining up with 3 or 4 dudes in the backfield right behind them to start pushing them the instant the ball's snapped. I mean, I get it though. Yeah, there's a gray area at some point, right? Like where is that just a sneak or where is it a tush push? I don't know. So.
But I liked what we saw. I like what we saw on defenses trying to stop it. Like we saw Chris Jones in the Super Bowl lineup sideways trying to stop it. Like just teams trying to like jump over the top.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
hard to say
can't
if it was that
stand.
play, but
I also can't stand the nickname Tush Push. I'm tired of hearing that shit. So like that's another reason I would vote to get rid of it. So
I'm not
you wouldn't
calling
have
it
to hear
brotherly
people
shove.
say that dumbass nickname 1,000 times like a season.
I will not call
so
it
yeah.
the brotherly shove, though. It's
Right,
the tush push.
Right. I'm team get rid of it. So
The
I
tush
would vote
push brings it
to
down
ban
to that level to it describes exactly what you guys are talking about, how lame it is, how boring it looks, right? But dude, there's only one team doing it. Like, got to figure out how to stop that, right? Like, I don't know. If there was like one player, like a Tyreek Hill, just always going over the top 70 yards, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, now the whole league has to adjust and everybody has to play cover two
Yeah.
now, right? Otherwise,
Sure.
this guy's going to burn you kind of shit. So, like,
Right.
I don't know. I do feel like it needs to be amended to be, as Nick was pointing out, fair on both sides.
Yeah.
Defense needs to be able to push back too. Otherwise,
Something.
you're just setting those D linemen
Right.
up for failure every time.
Right. We'll see what happens. Has not been banned yet, but I think it's gaining traction a little bit more and more. Surprisingly, too, I heard on, I was going to say it was like sports radio that the Bills, one of the teams, are adamant against it. And it's like, I mean, you know, well, we don't do that. What the Eagles do. Bullshit, you don't. Like
They ran
Josh
it, I
Allen
think, just
runs
as much
into
or
the
even
pile,
more.
and then guys will start pushing him forward. Like, it's, like
I mean,
Josh
they don't
Allen
do it the
about to
same
lose-
way, right?
right. Josh Allen about to lose 12 touchdowns a year if they ban that shit. So I don't know. Interesting to see. Biggest news
yeah.
probably in the NFL right now is the draft coming up here, not too far down the road. Lots of
11
talk
days?
about where the Chiefs should go, where they shouldn't go. We'll do a little bit more of like a draft preview show. But Nick, right now, where are you feeling like? What do you think the Chiefs are going to go in the first round? Like, what are they thinking? Best player available? Or are they looking like a position group that they're going to draft? Like, they're going to get an O lineman or a defensive lineman? What do you think Chiefs are going to end up doing?
I mean, I don't think that Veach has ever really kind of been a best player available guy, right? That's why we don't have DK Metcalf on our team. But I think, look, I would like to see them go offensive line, right? Maybe even defensive line. But I think that those are just the positions that, like, we have the greatest need. Like we saw that all season last year, especially on the offensive line. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. We're picking what, 30? Let's see. We were picking 31st, and then we had the 63rd pick in round 2. So it'll just be. To be honest, I haven't looked and seen, you know, how deep the draft is at what positions. I know that running back wise, this is a pretty deep draft. So I would like to see like a mid-round running back. But as far as like going early, you know, in the first round there, I don't know.
You mean you don't want a running back in the first round, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire again?
Yeah, hard pass unless it's Saquon Barkley. Like, you know.
Yeah. It's that tricky thing where it's like, well, you never draft a running back in the first round. It's like, bro, you're pick 31. Like, it's 2 picks away from being
Kind
the
of
second
the
round.
first round, right?
Right, yeah. Bo, I mean, what do you think the Chiefs are thinking? Like, what's their need? They brought in the left tackle from the 49ers. They've franchise tagged Trey Smith, trying to work a deal out with him. They've made some offensive line moves. Do they need more help there? Do you think they're got that kind of solidified a little bit? They don't need to reach or pick in the first round? Well, what do you think they're thinking?
No, yeah, sure. I don't think my opinion's changed too much about this. I think we need to still fill in the gaps where we saw it the most. I mean, what hurt us the most.
Right.
And in that Super Bowl, it was the O-line. And as much, I mean, we did it kind of last year. We brought in some tackles that didn't really pan out, right? So I'm thinking the more depth we can get in there, the better for us until we find the right fit. We got to protect 15. Like, it's just a different game when that guy feels comfortable versus when he's scrambling for his life, and everybody sees it, right? Everybody knows. It's unfortunately our 2 Super Bowl losses, right? To the same problem, or is the O-line. And so, like, I'd like to see that just get solidified and really, really ironed out to where it's just not a worry on anybody's score sheet whatsoever. But I'm also with Nick. More weapons, the better, right? I'd love a running back like that catching out of the backfield or something. The problem is I just don't know who's out there, who's going to be left at 31. And then the Beach and company, they always make some deals pretty much last minute where they're just like, oh, now they're trading up to, they're going to be picking 13. And you're just like, whoa, wow. All right, let's see what we're doing. Yeah, exactly. So It's one of those things I hate to speculate on, but I personally would just like to see that O-line get toughened up a little bit.
Yeah, they've talked about Kingsley moving to guard, and I'm like, can a guy play guard? Like, he couldn't play tackle at all. So,
Right.
that was the glaring weakness in the Super Bowl, was the tackles in particular. Overall, the way the line played. Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, maybe those guys, the interiors is pretty strong. Maybe they just didn't have their best game. Joe Tooney's obviously moved on. So, I don't know. I feel like offensive line is one of those things where if you're not picking super high, like, you're not going to get that can't miss left tackle. And so then you can get like running backs, like you can get guards and you can get guys in the 3rd and 4th round that are pretty good. I've always been team skill position player in the 1st round, man. Like, get you like a badass tight end or get you a badass wide receiver, right? Like, there's some people thinking maybe that Luther Burton guy from Mizzou might be there. He may, I don't know if you say he had a down year this last year, but definitely not his best year. But I mean, that guy, there's been a couple of years like early on in his where people are saying, man, this is like the guy like at wide receiver. So maybe you can score there. Maybe his stock has fallen a little bit, and he'll be there. I unless there's like a run on wide receivers, man. Like I want to see them go out with Travis Kelce getting older. I know they drafted the guy last year, Jared Wiley. Injuries kind of eerily similar to Travis Kelce, kind of like sidelined him his rookie year. Maybe he comes out and explodes in his 2nd year if he can stay healthy. But yeah, for me, man, like I don't want a running back in the 1st round just because you can get like a good solid guy. Maybe if like a Jonathan Taylor, right, was there, like we picked over to get CH that 1 year. If you're sitting there and there's just like a generational talent at running back that slips to you and you're reaching at another position out of need, maybe then, I mean, I guess never say never, right? Like, you don't ever want to really like limit your options too much. But yeah, I'm hopeful to get some more offensive help for Patrick Mahomes, some more playmakers. I mean, on top of the line just getting worked and the tackle position being poor in the Super Bowl, like we saw like a lack, and Nick has said this more than once, like a lack of explosive guys. And Rashee Rice being hurt and missing the basically the whole year hurt, right? Because he was looking explosive in those first 3.5 games that he played. But yeah, I would like to be able to stretch the field. I'd like to see the Chiefs. I think maybe you'd see some bigger margins of victory if you had more guys out there that could hit that home run and you're not constantly having to count on like 8, 9, 10 play drives to score touchdowns. So that's what I'm hoping for. I think you're going to see a defensive player, though. I think those guys slip and fall. You see him go with Karlaftis. You see him go with McDuffie.
We tend to draft defensive guys.
FAU, the guy at K-State, is looking like that maybe is going to be a bad 1st-round pick, unless he really, really turns around this year. So, yeah, I think you see him go with the defensive player in the draft. But
for the
I'm
first
hopeful
pick?
like one of these playmakers. Yeah, for the 1st-round pick, I think that they're going to get a defensive guy.
Okay.
You think line?
Yeah. Chris Jones isn't a spring chicken. George Karlaftis has been good. He's been a solid player. He's stepped his game up in the playoffs, which is what you want, right? You'd rather have a guy play better in the playoffs, but that dominance really hasn't like been there in the regular season for him. So I don't know if the Chiefs looking to pay him to keep him. I mean, he's getting towards in his contract here in the next year or two. So I'm gonna have to pay a Trent McDuffie, right? So maybe you need to get a cheaper corner to go in there to match up with him. But yeah, I think you see like probably like defensive line. I think that's probably where the Chiefs are thinking. And then you see some guards, maybe some offensive linemen, maybe in that 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. I mean, that's where they got some of these guys like Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, right? 2nd, 3rd round guys. So
we're all kind of thinking like both lines with maybe a little sprinkle of some magic if they can find it, right?
Right. I mean, I love wide receiver, man. I love wide receivers in the 1st round. I just don't. I mean,
well, you got to Yeah, when you got a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, yeah,
Right.
you're gonna love all the weapons you can get.
Right. Right. And I don't know. Rashee Rice posted on his Instagram that he's been cleared for route tree running and stuff. So he's looking like he's maybe ahead of schedule. And the injury rehab is going well for him. He's got the suspension looming. You've got the Xavier Worthy situation is kind of like gone like kaput, right? Like him and the ex-fiance have just agreed to go their own ways and drop all charges and cases and lawsuits against each other. You go your way, I'll go my way. But you know how the NFL is, man. They do their own investigations, and we've seen players not get charged with a crime but still get a suspension. So you get another wide receiver injury. I that's where I would like to see them go. I'd like to see them get a solid wide receiver in the first round. And I know Hollywood Brown's back on a 1-year deal. We'll see if he can stay healthy. Injury's been his, bugaboo in his career. So, but
I mean, if things were to go like, best case scenario, we got a decent receiving core to come right out of the gates, dude.
Yeah.
If Rice's training stays on schedule like it is, we got Marquise Brown, we got Worthy, and then T. Kels, man, and then all the backup tight ends there. I mean, I'm liking what we got there already. And that was the thing, like listening these past couple of weeks, right? Purdy got his deal done in San Francisco, and like getting all like people wondering how much should they pay him and all this stuff, and everybody's talking about like, well, Purdy's this good and he didn't do that well this year, and everybody always interjects immediately. Well, that's because he didn't have any weapons this year, and I'm like thinking like to myself, like, dude, that was us, and we made it to the Super Bowl. Like that
Right.
shouldn't be a thing, right?
No,
and so like coming out of the gates with weapons, with people healthy, like I'm excited for the season already.
Yeah, 49ers should trade Brock Purdy. That's all I've done if I was them. But hope our man John V ain't watching. Although he probably don't care. His Cleveland Cavaliers are the 1 seed. I know John V's a big NBA fan. So they got that 1 seed wrapped up in the Eastern Conference there in NBA. So maybe John V's Cavs can make some noise and do some damage and bring him some happiness in the old NBA playoffs. But the draft this year is in Green Bay, right? Is that
where it's at?
I think so.
I know it's on the 20th, I think, right?
I'm trying to think of what day.
Draft 20. Yeah.
Green Bay, yeah, you got it. You nailed it.
Titletown District, baby.
John C had a comment on there earlier. I saw it scroll by a little bit ago. It was like the draft, the one time where it hurts you to be good. Yeah, they should do the NFL draft like they do fantasy football drafts, the old snake draft, right? Like, all right, if you suck, like we're gonna give
31 and 1. Ooh.
Right, dude, you're gonna get 30. You're gonna pick 32nd because you won the Super Bowl, but you're gonna get 33 too. Like I get it's trying to even the playing field, but like rarely does that happen, right? Because you see the same shitty ass teams picking at the top of the draft every year. Like, I've been a fan of them not punishing the good organizations and good teams as much. Like, yeah, we're gonna make you pick at the end at 32 or 31, but you're gonna get like a top pick in the second round. I've always thought that was fair. Better way to do it, but I don't think you probably.
Second and third rounds are so wild now. If you look at them, it's just like this was here because it was traded from this 4 years ago by this commensurate pick, and then like it's wild when you try to follow all of them.
Right. So we'll be back here before the draft, and we'll break it down, and we'll have some players and some guys at that point. Like you start hearing leaks. I don't know how much stock you can put in these insiders saying the Chiefs or whatever team is leaning this way or that way, because the teams are tight-lipped when it comes to draft picks and their strategy and where they're wanting to go. So, but there's always some names of guys, right? And so when those start kind of like popping up more and we get closer to the draft, we'll break that sucker down and maybe talk about some guys more in depth. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here.
Patrick Mahomes is in. He's doing his annual throwing with receivers workouts now. That he just posted that started.
Yeah, Camp Pat down there in Texas or whatever.
He's sporting a new look. No mohawk Pat. He's kind of gone back to the old school, just kind of crew cut look.
It's so funny. Like I never thought of his hair as a mohawk.
I didn't either
And-
until he said it.
until he said like, oh, I can't be like having like 3 kids and having a mohawk. And I was like, he has a mohawk? You know, and I'm just like, I guess because growing up like as a 90s kid, I like think of the old SLC punk, like the little
Right.
spike
Exactly.
mohawk, right? Like the
Exactly.
entire side of your head is shaved except for like that one piece in the middle. But yeah, I mean, it's looking. I like the mohawk better. I ain't gonna lie. Like I thought it was a little bit better look for Patrick. But I mean, Patrick can rock whatever look he wants. It's so funny. You've seen him posting the videos of Bobby Stroop in training, and like people are commenting and reposting and sharing them, and like, oh, Patrick's really locked in this off season, and he's really looking. I'm like, bro, he puts these out every year. Like, what are you talking
He's
about?
locked in every season.
The guy's been in the
Like
Super Bowl
the
more years than
James
he has.
Franco meme. It's like, oh, first time. Like,
Yeah, right. Like, bro, like he does this every year. Like he's been in the Super Bowl more years than he hasn't in his career, right? At this point, so
by a lot.
come on, man. Like it's just a new thing. Like it's not. You don't have no extra motivation.
The only thing, the reason I bring that up is because this year I think what's different about it is like I think 12 guys showed up for him, right?
Yeah.
12 or 13 guys versus like 6 or 7, right?
Yeah.
So getting a lot of
Right.
reps in with a lot of people. Hopefully,
Right.
you know, there was some timing issues this year that we all kind of addressed.
was.
So it'd be nice to see them iron that out as quick as possible.
Yeah, there was some growth that needed to come and happen with Xavier Worthy being a young guy, and did he ever? I mean, the guy just got better and better and better as the year went on, and like that, it's really encouraging. Like you're talking about that, and more guys. Like I keep hearing from all these players, especially the wide receiving core, like guys saying like, "Man, we got fucking unfinished business from last year, right?" Like that shit has pissed them off, right? That they were right there with a chance to get the 3-peat, and then the Super Bowl the way it went. Maybe some extra motivation to guys on there. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes ever gets extra motivation or not, but some of these other dudes, like Hollywood Brown, comes back and is like, "Yeah, I got unfinished business. I want to come back and finish this the way it should have been finished." And Xavier Worthy is like talking about, "Yeah, man, that shit, like the way that went down." I was thinking, man, like if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year, like they would have had the 4-peat, like if they wouldn't have fucking got their ass whooped. Oh man, that was like that. Like thought popped into my head and was like fucking drive me crazy a little bit.
Well, I think we get the script next week, so we'll know.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we
I haven't seen
Look
that
in the
in the
mailbox.
FedEx. I haven't seen that in the what are the mail ahead.
yeah, I
that
think
they
the
do now, where
storms
you
in
can
the
see-
south messed up the mailing or
Right.
something.
Like you can see ahead of time,
they're
like the postal service will like send you an email of like what you're gonna get in the mail the next day. And it's like, how about you just worry about getting the fucking mail to my house, right? Like instead of we're sending fucking pictures of like the mail, I'm gonna see it when it gets here tomorrow. Just make sure the shit gets there. Like, post office. I don't even get started on that.
That's like when you get the email, it's like your package is shipped, and you click on the tracking, and it's like
No.
they've just like
Sitting
created the
at the
tracking number.
carrier's
Right. Oh, bro.
facility.
This is the biggest con, right?
Yeah, that should be like a felony. That's bad. That's like false advertisement or something.
Your team should automatically have to pick last in the draft if you do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. No, Patrick's looking good. He's in off-season form like usual down there with Bobby Stroop doing all the. Some of those videos make me nervous the way he's twisting and shit, and I'm just like, God, don't fucking. You know what I mean? Like,
Bobby Stroop
Yeah.
seems to know what he's doing.
he seems to know what he's doing. I mean, I got faith in the guy. I trust in him, but
There's always like 2 or 3 plays where you realize like why
Right.
they do what they do. Because you're like,
Right.
ooh, my leg would have just broken right in half. You see
Oh,
how
yeah.
his didn't?
Yeah.
that's because
Yeah.
he
It's true.
trains.
that's true. We've talked about this before too. Like, I feel like there's guys where, like J.J. Watt, like his career kind of like got shortened because of injury and his body kind of broke down on him. And you watch the training videos that guy used to do, and you're like, well, no shit, your body broke down early, bro. Like you were like overworked. Like, dude, like he's
What's
got
that
like 5
workout
tractor
fad?
tires on his back, and he's like jumping on a picnic table. I'm like,
Dude, it's like watching
Man,
somebody
like-
in CrossFit do pull-ups. Have you ever seen those people do pull-ups where they're like jerking their whole body up to do
Oh,
a
yeah.
pull-up? You're like,
No.
you're gonna throw your back out doing
Like,
that.
is that good? Yeah, that's what I'm
it's just
saying, man.
this. Come
It's like
on,
he's
it's just that.
JJ Watt is like trying to be in like Rocky 7.
yeah, I just like, man, like
punching
I mean,
meat. Mm.
And maybe that's why the guy was so good for when he was in the league. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not like a personal trainer. I'm not like model of health or a workout warrior by any stretch of the imagination. So, but I've spent some time in the gym, and I know that overworking yourself is a thing, right? Like you can like overwork your body even if you are super strong. So, getting ready for the season down there, man. Nick, anything? There's Brian popping in here at the end. Good to see you, bro.
Morning.
Nick, any Chiefs news you've seen? Anything going on? Anybody in the chat got any questions? Anything they've seen that?
No, I think we hit
Maybe
it. The
we
only thing we
missed.
didn't really talk about before the show that I thought of was the international game, but we talked about that.
Did we talk about Minshew Mania last time? Was he on the team
No.
last?
No,
episode?
that was like seems like such old news now at this point because we missed a few
Doesn't it,
weeks there.
though?
But Minshew Mania, man. Well, I mean, what do you think about Minshew as a backup? That a good move? You like that, Bo?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Better than Carson Wentz?
Yeah,
Is that an upgrade?
I don't know. I just if you kind of like compare what they've done in the past, I wouldn't say it's an upgrade. I don't know. Carson Wentz.
I don't
has a
know.
little bit
They've
more
already
accolades
scored
than
the
me.
same amount of points, and Carson Wentz played in a real game.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
I've always been a fan of Uncle Rico. Like I don't know, he's always reminded me of Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. I love the style and the pizzazz that he brings, but
Right.
I just kind of think he's a mid-tier quarterback, and obviously you don't want to bring in like somebody badass to like outshine Patrick by any means. But man, I just don't know if he's the guy that, if God forbid something happened, you have to bring him in and.
Yeah.
In a really clutch time that he's going to pull through for you. But I mean, he has for other teams, but
He's pulled through for my
we'll
fantasy
see.
team several times as a waiver wire guy, like when your quarterback gets hurt or is on a bye week.
You're
Know,
going
like,
deep
oh,
if you're going for Minshew, man.
Gardner Minshew, he's fucking available. Dude, when he was on the Jaguars, he won me some weeks, man. Like picking him up, like never a guy you like draft, right? Like, but
He reminds me of the fucking announcer, the dude with the beard, Fitzpatrick. Yeah, he reminds me of him, like a journeyman through the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Like decent enough, and like he'll have his flashes, but
Right.
I just don't think he's ever going to be like a lead horse by any means.
No, yeah. I mean, you don't really need that with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the best quarterback in the NFL. Nick, what do you think? You like that signing? I mean, is he better than Carson Wentz? Is that
Yeah,
an
I just
upgrade
wonder if
about
he's
the
gonna,
same?
if once he gets in there, if he's gonna thank Chris Jones for starting his whole career,
Right.
breaking Nick Foles'
Yeah,
Nick Foles collarbone.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the bar was pretty low after Carson Wentz last year, from what I saw. I know they sat a lot of people, but
Man, it's
that
so
was,
hard to tell. Like, but
that
yeah, he
was
did
an
not look good.
ugly game.
He did not look
So,
good. Chiefs weren't in a hurry to bring him back like they did Chad Henne, right? I mean,
right. Yeah. So, that I think that's as good of a pickup as you could hope for as a backup, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's proven that he can play at the NFL level. He's never been elite, but he's proven that he can go out there and make plays when he needs to. But it's the backup quarterback, man. You just hopefully the only time he's ever in there is when we're up like 30 points in the fourth quarter, or week 17, week 18 when we don't need anybody to play. So
right. Look, Gardner Minshew to me, I mean, he's a good backup. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're like an average to slightly below average starter, man, like that bumps you up a couple notches on the backup tier as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we saw it with Matt Moore, right? And some guys that maybe had to come in for a game or two. I think he's a guy that can come in with preparation for a week and play well enough and not get in the way and not screw it up, right? And help you win a game.
I think he's kind of
I felt that
streaky,
way
right?
Yeah,
I felt
he's
that way
not a
about
guy.
Carson Wentz, though.
Yeah, you don't want. I wasn't wild about the Carson Wentz thing coming in, man. Like I thought he was pretty done.
I'm not wild about Minshew. I wasn't wild
I
about
mean, no,
Wentz,
I'm
but that's
not
like
saying,
that's what I
like-
kind of like. I had that same sentiment.
I'm not saying like, oh well, if Patrick goes down and we have to play 5 games, we're good. Like there'll be concerns, like if that's the case. But man, like I think in a spot start here or there, if you had to have the guy, like I think he's, I mean, pretty good. I mean, you could have worse backups.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Good.
I know it's hard to tell with the Carson Wentz thing because, like you said, Nick, they sat a lot of starters. I mean, I like to think I know the Chiefs roster pretty well, and there was guys on the team, and I was like, on the field, I was like, I never even fucking heard that guy's name before. So, but at the same time, he did not look good, and it wasn't like he was making plays and guys were dropping the ball, and he looked slow. He looked like,
I mean, the guy
passes
sprained
didn't
both
look
of his
good.
ankles on one play one time. Not with
Yeah,
Chiefs.
I don't know.
Remember the last time we had a badass quarterback and we did well enough in the season, we got to rest him that final game. We put our backup in, and like, he became the best quarterback to ever grace the game, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
I don't know. That's kind of like my bar of backup quarterbacks. I don't want that because I don't want Mahomes to be dethroned by any means. But I look at Minshew, I'm just like, I don't think we're getting any kind of. I don't think we're gonna catch a streak that he's gonna go or get a streak for us by any means.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be too worried if he has to play a game or two. I think he can get you 1-1. If you got to play 5 games with him, then I think you start to. I would be worried at that point. But
Right.
Minshew Mania, I did like his comments though asked about what he brings to the team, and he's like, just being the backup, just being in that quarterback room. Maybe have someone Patrick can vent to or just bounce ideas off of, and just kind of be a guy there to kind of bring a vibe and a chillness to the quarterback room. I like the way the guy talked, man. Like as far as like the way he sees his role, it was interesting, and it wasn't like I got to come in and do what I can to help the team win and play and practice every week like I'm the starter. That same tired bullshit you hear from every career backup quarterback, right? Like, so it was different. He's a different dude. You can tell by the way the dude does the handlebar mustaches and
that's why I brought up Fitzpatrick. He seems like a cool hang,
goofy.
right?
Like, yeah,
Right. It's a good hang.
Yeah, he could be a good dude to kick it with. But Minshew Mania at Arrowhead. I'm gonna buy Bo a Minshew jersey now. It's gonna be a Christmas present.
Oh shit, dude! If you do, I'll rock the handlebar. I'll rock the jersey and the handlebar mustache for a show.
There we go. That sounds good. I like that. But well, shit, it was good to be back and talk to you guys, man. Good to see you guys. It was good seeing everybody in the chat. We'll promise not to take 3 or 4 weeks off too often here. Just had life and taking a little bit of a break, and there's wasn't a whole lot going on. So a few things here and there, but once the draft hits, man, then you start talking about like the OTAs are around the corner and guys start coming in, and then you're looking at training camp, and next thing you know, it's week 1. It'll be here before you know it. And Blaney liking Minshew, so he's a character, if anything, right?
Yeah,
we like characters, so
it'll be fun.
Really appreciate everybody jumping in that we saw here in the
everybody.
chat. John C, Laney, Doug. I know I saw One Man Show in there. I've got this share your referral link blocking most of my comment screen here. So if I missed your comment coming through, if I didn't see you there in the chat, I didn't give you a shout out, I apologize. It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, it's good. You couldn't see the comments. People were saying nice stuff about you that I didn't put up on the screen.
Yeah.
So
Nick's
There
like
we go.
deleting them. Like, no,
Right.
guys, let's get this.
Scott's
straight.
man. Scott called that Christmas shit. Like, it's funny.
I had someone.
Thank you, everybody on X watching us.
I think
right
I
now.
heard that
Appreciate
you were
all the
like
viewers.
John Wayne. Saw that in one of them. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's a compliment nowadays or not. Everybody watching on X, really, really appreciate it. Make sure you're following us. We do our weekly polls. We still got this Pacheco jersey we're itching to give away, man. We're getting.
We're going to have to make that package better. I might have to throw something else autographed in there.
Might have to sweeten the deal. Is that what you're
get
thinking?
100 more people. Yeah, I might have to. We'll see what we got in the old bin there of
Might just
autographed
sweeten the pot,
memorabilia.
So, make sure you're following us on social medias, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram at Chiefs Kingdom Live. We should be back next week. We'll talk more draft and at that point, and maybe there'll be some names and some stuff coming out. So I promise you I won't do a mock draft, though. So you don't have to worry about mock drafts on this show, man. Oh, bro, I traded down in the second. Dude, it's a fucking mock draft, bro. Just no one cares, right? Like, shit drives me crazy when you hear it on the radio.
my way too early mock draft.
Right. Yeah. Every mock draft's a way too early mock draft and a waste of time. So, but we should be back next week. We'll be talking NFL draft, and I'm sure the Chiefs will do something between now and then. So, really appreciate you watching, and make sure you click like and subscribe. And until next time, let's go Chiefs.
All right, let's go,
Go Chiefs.